At the heart of the growing crisis in the Middle East, specifically in the tumultuous waters of the Red Sea, a geopolitical drama is unfolding that has reached its peak. Yemen's Iran-backed Houthi forces have escalated their attacks at an alarming rate, triggering a series of events that threaten not only the stability of the region but also the uninterrupted flow of international trade. In a more aggressive turn, the Houthis have employed tactics including drones and missiles, directly targeting merchant ships and triggering significant disruption to global trade. Renowned companies are forced to redirect their operations towards more expensive and delayed destinations, while the world eagerly observes a resolution to this critical situation. In response, the United States and its coalition allies have orchestrated precise airstrikes against Houthi targets, highlighting their unyielding stance in the face of these provocations. The purpose of these attacks is clear: protect one of the most vital shopping centers in the world, a strategic objective that cannot be compromised. Over 3 consecutive nights, the military power of the United States and the United Kingdom has been deployed with unprecedented force. Fighter jets and warships have carried out strategic operations against Yemeni rebel military formations, marking a coordinated response to the growing threat. Yesterday, the United States launched a new attack, precisely 25 hours after the initial attack led by the coalition commanded by these 2 powerful allies. In this latest assault, the U.S. Navy focused its efforts on dismantling the Houthis' radar systems. In the complex chessboard of the fight against Houthi attacks in the Red Sea, radar infrastructure emerges as a top priority target. Tomahawk missiles, launched with precision from the U.S. fleet, managed to reduce the radar systems to rubble, leaving the Houthis virtually defenseless against future attacks. This new chapter of hostilities comes in retaliation for months of coordinated attacks by US and UK aircraft, ships and submarines against ships in the Red Sea, backed by Houthi forces and influenced by Iran. Strongly, US Vice President Joe Biden has issued a strong warning. "We will be sure to respond to the Houthis if they persist in this outrageous behavior," making clear that new offensives could be commanded to safeguard regional and global stability. After the initial attacks, the U.S. Navy deployed a strong warning to U.S.-flagged ships, urging them to avoid the region surrounding Yemen, encompassing both the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden, for a period of 72 hours after the start of the offensive. This drastic measure was taken in response to direct threats from the government led by Vice President Joe Biden and its allies, who had previously warned the Iran-backed militant group about the inevitable consequences of its attacks on merchant ships. In official statements, the Vice President of the United States, Joe Biden, revealed that he himself had given the order to begin the operation in response to the unusual attacks by the Houthis against international warships in the Red Sea. Today, military forces from the United States of America, the United Kingdom, Australia, Bahrain, Canada and the Netherlands effectively carried out attacks on a number of targets used by Houthi rebels to threaten freedom of navigation in Yemen, Biden stated. The American leader stressed that the operation was carried out under his strict supervision, reaffirming the administration's commitment to security and the free movement of international commerce. In a statement issued by the White House, Biden stated without hesitation, "We will not hesitate to take further action if necessary to protect our people and ensure the uninterrupted flow of international trade." In the wake of joint US and UK operations against Iran-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen, concerns about an escalation of regional confrontation have been growing. During the airstrikes, Vice President Biden quietly conveyed a message to Tehran, declaring, "We have everything we need." Over the weekend, Biden reaffirmed that the United States had clearly communicated to Tehran that it was fully prepared for any eventuality. This statement came in response to the second night of coordinated attacks carried out by the United States and the United Kingdom against Houthi rebels in Yemen, who were backed by Iran. On his way from Washington to Camp David in Maryland, the President of the United States of America met with journalists in the picturesque garden of the White House. Opting for caution, the President declined to delve deeper into the issue and prepared to address questions related to the current elections in Taiwan. His remarks came against the backdrop of growing unrest generated by recent airstrikes against Houthi radar stations, stoking fears of further escalation in the region. This event occurs at a time marked by global concern about the economy, as well as the need to guarantee the safety and protection of civilians. Furthermore, in the United States, progressives in the Democratic Party have expressed their dissatisfaction with Vice President Biden's decision to begin the attack on Yemen without first obtaining approval from Congress. After claiming that their actions were in solidarity and targeted shipping linked to Israel, the Houthi leadership subsequently vowed to carry out relentless revenge along the trade route through the Red Sea. In a public statement issued by the rebels' High Political Council, it was declared that all American and British interests have become legitimate targets as a result of the attacks. The United States Ambassador to the United Nations, Linda Thomas Greenfield, highlighted during an extraordinary session of the United Nations Security Council in New York that the Haitian threat in the Red Sea represents a danger to all vessels in the region. The Houthis are simply the Houthis, and so the United States and the United Kingdom have responded by attacking Yemen, he stressed. The Houthis, a Yemeni military group that embraces the Zaydi branch of Shiite Islam, derive their name from their founder, Hussein Badreddin al-Houthi. They emerged in response to the religious influence that Saudi Arabia exerted in Yemen in the 1980s. Under the formal name of Ansar Allah, they have around 20,000 fighters and control a significant portion of the western region of the country, being responsible for the coast along the Red Sea. The connection between the Houthis and Iran has become a crucial element in the complex geopolitical fabric of the region. The Houthis, backed by Iran, maintain historical hostility towards Saudi Arabia, and this alliance has also been reflected in Iranian support for Hamas in the Gaza conflict. Abdul Malik al-Houthi, commander of the Houthis, expressed his solidarity with the Palestinian people after the massacre carried out by Hamas on October 7. He declared that Houthi forces were prepared to mobilize in significant numbers and join the Palestinian people in confronting the common enemy. This ideological and strategic connection between the Houthis, Iran and Hamas reflects an intertwining of shared interests in the fight against their common adversaries. Regarding events in the Red Sea, this important shipping route has become a tense and disputed scene. Located south of the Suez Canal, the Red Sea is vital to global connectivity between Europe, Asia, and East Africa. Yemen, on the country's southeast coast, is located in a key strategic position. After the start of the conflict in Gaza, the Houthis intensified their missile and drone attacks against ships in the Red Sea. Although most of these attacks were countered by measures taken by the United States and Israel, on November 19, terrorists used helicopters to seize a vehicle carrier linked to an Israeli businessman. This act led to the kidnapping of the crew and caused an escalation in the situation. According to the Houthis, any ship associated with Israel or its sponsors is considered a legitimate target. This pronouncement led to a series of attacks on ships, most of which were unsuccessful. However, the persistent threat has caused many shipping companies to choose to avoid the Red Sea route and opt for the long and expensive detour around the Cape of Good Hope in South Africa. This decision not only significantly increased travel time but also generated additional costs for the affected businesses. The situation, marked by the complex network of alliances and tensions, has created an unpredictable scenario in the Red Sea region.